For my first army interview, Nina Louise, she moved to Japan to be with family, teach English, and explore Japan only to realize that YouTubers' magical life as foreign workers in countries like Japan are mostly filtered, edited to precision for the illusion of glamour. Even as she doubled her work time, she really couldn't cover her expenses. It was nowhere near the life she thought she was going to have. Finding herself stuck in Japan, she's now on a quest to save money to return home to the US and build her dream Purple Cafe, a cafe aimed at becoming a home for armies and other K pop events in California, and to bring people together in the same fandom. And of course, the first thing that we talked about, dogs. Okay, so you were saying that the process of adopting pets in Japan is a little different from how it is in the US.
Yes. So it is an industry where it is shopping. And
Mhm.
so I kind of wanted to take a look at that because I wondered why I didn't see any strays anywhere.
Mhm.
Um, when I was on the mainland, Chiba, closer to Tokyo, I think in 6 months I might have seen two cats, not a single stray dog. And it's basically because they capture them and they help them out and then put them in stores. Or, there might be a few shelters, but it's very, very small. It's basically a shop kind of industry. And so I
Oh,
love dogs and I was like,
right,
"Well, let me go see." And
right,
she verified that she uses very good breeders and that, her animals are never unhealthy.
right.
It's very rare. And so I thought, hey, since this is the thing here and also the only job I could get in 2 months, that I had to go ahead and go with it. And, I'll do what I do, which is give the animals lots of love, try and
Right,
get them exercise, and then try and get them in homes.
right. So it's a store, so like, a pet store. You walk
Yes.
in, you buy the pets. Okay, and so there's not just dogs there, I'm assuming. There
No,
are.
actually it is. It's puppy love, so it is just dogs, and it's
Ah,
literally right across the street from one of the main military, bases, Camp Foster. So, it is just dogs here, but a lot of pet shops in the malls will have the cats and a few other animals.
right.
But we just have puppies, and we don't have anything else. We offer trial food, the food that we've been giving them, but other
Mm,
than that, it's just the animals.
okay. Strange, huh?
It is very different than what I'm used to.
Yeah, well,
So,
I guess one benefit is that there are no strays. So at the very least, how's animal rights? Are they strict about?
so I was reading something from Turkey, but it's not like that there, where now they're changing their laws and they will pick up strays and put them in shelters, and if they're not gone in 3 days, they'll euthanize them. Um,
Ooh,
Japan here has laws too, where if you see abuse, you can have a number and call it. Because that
mhm.
was one thing I did notice. I saw a dog inside a home that was gated. And so I kept, going up to it, trying to be friendly. And then I just kept noticing how thin it was. And so I
Mhm.
thought, wow, what do I do if I feel like an animal is abused here or needs help? And so they have all kinds of, in that way, they are very similar to America. They do have numbers to call. They have shelters that you can ask for help. But then I kept watching it, and then I noticed that it is being fed. So maybe they had just gotten a dog and
Mhm.
were taking care of it. So I said, okay, yeah, don't be that American that just jumps to conclusions and just thinks that everybody's hurting their dog because it's skinny. So, yeah, and as far as the breeders, they have to stay within the laws that Japan has here. The owner has to make sure that she's obeying the laws as well. But also because it's a little different, for me, I'm always feeling like we got to take the dogs out. They need fresh air, yada, yada, yada. I'm all about let's get them out and give them
Mhm.
love. But, for them, it is okay for them to be in a certain amount of space for a certain amount of time. But I
Mhm.
guess I'm just that person who likes to spoil every dog and cat
Yeah.
she sees. So in Torrance, where I'm from, there's this beautiful park across, not far down from the house of my friend, and there's this huge open space, and
Mhm.
tons of people will let their dog off the leash and let it run. And I think that they should, and you can, as long as you have control over your
Over you.
animal. I
Yeah.
think that's the big deal, because if some stranger comes and he has his dog, he doesn't see you, and the dogs run towards each other, will your dog listen to you and come back? I think
Right.
that's the fear, right?
Right.
That
Right. Right.
you have to have control of your dog, and your dog will listen to your command.
Yeah. I can't tell you how many people have like scolded me about it. Like, you have to leash your dog. You're not being safe. You don't know how to take care of it.
Oh, I believe you. I have seen the videos of people coming out and being like, "You need to da, 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 da,
Yeah.
da, da." And there are also, on the other side of the coin, there are people who are walking their dog, and the other dog, whether leashed or not, attacks their dog, and they were like, "Why don't you have control of your dog? Have you trained your dog?" And so
Right.
I understand both aspects. Before I came to Japan, I was a dog walker, and that each
Oh,
owner had their own rules about the dog, and I understand that, right?
right.
So you just want to be safe with your pet and then other people's pets, and so
Right.
yeah.
Right. So okay. So how did you end up in Japan?
So so I have family here, kazoku, family, and my brother married a Okinawan young lady
Okay.
some 32 years ago. And
Hmm.
so I have a niece and nephew here. So
Okay.
Sakura and Yamato are my niece and nephew. And because, I'm from the States and I didn't have money like that to travel back and forth very often, I got to see them a little bit when they were kids. But as they were older, I thought, man, I really need to spend quality time with them just to see how their life is, to see if they have any questions. Are they going through anything? Is everything okay? And I was having a hard time after COVID. I would
Hmm.
say, was that 2021? I was accepted into a PhD program in Hawaii,
Hmm.
University of Manoa. And
Hmm.
everybody said, "Oh, COVID's done. COVID's over with. Go back, go back." So I
Right.
took a job in a restaurant doing takeout. And literally 2 weeks before my flight to come here just for a visit at the time, during summer break, I got COVID. And
Oh,
then it affected my appendix. And then that affected my leg, which turned into a blood clot. And then
okay.
that turned into 2 4 surgeries in 5 weeks. And so I needed a year to recover. So I went back home, and the school
Back to
said, "We can't."
Torrance.
Yeah, back to
Back to
Torrance,
Torrance.
excuse me,
Okay.
yes, back to Torrance to stay with friends. My brother now lives in Marietta and didn't have enough space.
Hmm.
So I said, "You know what? My friend does, and I've known her for forever, so I'll stay with her." And it took a year to recover because my leg, I was kinda lopsided, so I had to almost relearn how to walk.
Hmm.
And I just was trying to find anything, any kind of work that I could do remotely. Then I tried finding teaching jobs, and still I was like, wow, this competition is really stiff no matter what I look for as a writer
Hmm.
or as a teacher. I just can't seem to find anything. And so I said, okay, well, maybe I'll try Japan again. And I found a company, and they sent me, well, I actually had to pay for all my own stuff. And I asked for Okinawa first, obviously, and then it was
Hmm.
Tokyo or Chiba, because Chiba was close to Tokyo, and I got the
Hmm.
third one, which is Chiba. So I said,
Hmm.
"Okay, well, at least flights are pretty reasonable, so less than $200, I should be able to fly every other month." And then once I got here, I realized it's a different ball game with the amount of
Okay.
money. This is definitely for that college kid who comes out and doesn't have any bills to his name, because I was struggling every month. And so
Mm-hmm.
I said, okay, let me just go see my family, which was the main reason I came to Japan.
Right.
And so then I didn't sign up for the next contract and just got on a flight. And here I am in Okinawa.
Okay. So, okay. So, um, let me see if I understand this correctly. Initially, you were there to go and visit the family, but then you got a job while you were still in the US. You got a job. It's just
Correct.
that.
Yeah, because before I got COVID, I was going to come and just visit for the summer. Um, and then I had to take that year, almost a year and a half, to recuperate and feel 100%. And then, yes, I got a job in Chiba teaching English, and then
Okay.
I came over.
Okay. So, was it because, so you said that it's expensive and all. Um, what was expensive about it? Is it because you're very close to the city, or because there are other bills that you need to pay back home? What was it that didn't
So
like?
that's it in a nutshell. It's basically the bills that I have. So if you have no bills, no matter how old you are, you can
Mm-hmm.
come and you can do great. I mean, I see a lot of TikTok clips and Instagram clips where they tell everybody, "Come on out. It's so much money." And I think for someone who a lot of the teachers were obviously a lot younger than I, but even they were struggling. Most
Right.
of them had two jobs, and because they want to do stuff. Like, you don't come to a different country to just work and go home and have dinner. You want to explore, and that costs yen. So it's not that it's expensive, it's that for the amount that they pay you, if you have equal amount of bills at home, or a lot of bills at home, then you're just going paycheck to paycheck, which is what I was doing in the US.
Yeah.
So
So your bill was to maintain your lifestyle in Japan, not because you had bills to pay back in the US.
no, I did have bills to pay back in the US. So for an example, the yen, let's do it in dollars. I
Mm-hmm.
was making about 1,800 a month,
Mm-hmm.
and half of that is home to bills. So I was basically living off of 900 to $1,000, which is very tough even in Japan, because rent is about $400, then there's bills, that's another 100, and then there's food, so then
Mm-hmm.
you in transportation, so you don't really have anything else. So
Right.
that's why I became an explorer of going and using my money for the train only, and then, and then just seeing whatever was free.
Right, right, right. So just to give our viewers and our listeners an idea,
Of course.
how much is the 400 you said for an apartment? Is that like a studio? I see a
It
lot of,
was. Yes, it
and
was.
how
It's
small is it?
I would say about 200 square feet, maybe.
Oh,
Yeah, because
that is
I would say it was
small.
half the size of my studio in Hawthorne when I lived in LA. It
Right,
was
right.
half
That
of
is
that.
small. Yeah.
Yeah. So you just basically come in, and then right away there's, a little place for your shoes. This way there's the washer and dryer, a little closet area for the toilet, a little
Mhm.
area for the showering. You go in further, there's just, I mean, literally like the size of a desk in America would be the
Right.
size of the kitchen counter, with a
Okay.
sink, a stove,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe a little place for you to prep and then to
Yeah.
eat later.
Right.
And then
Right.
you go in, and then it's like a little square area. I had a patio, which that was really cool. But then I had a little twin bed, and then maybe about that same width of space. And
Mm-hmm.
then there was on the wall, there was a TV, some shelving, and then a little bassinet area for like to get ready in the morning. So it's
Right.
cute and it's small. And for $400, I mean, It was adorable. When I walked in, I was like, "Oh my god, this is the cutest place ever." Um, so that wasn't the issue. What I should have just worked out was coming with more to hold me until I got enough students and clients to where I made enough, but I still, even on months where I did have a student every hour, every 40 minutes we did classes, 40, 50 minutes, it was still like maybe a little extra change, but not enough for me to like go. I wanted to go to Osaka so bad. I wanted to go to Kyoto and Nara to see the deer. So there was a lot of things that I kind of missed out on that I'm hoping that I can still do before I eventually go back and return to Torrance. But
Right. So when you went there, the expectation was that, sorry, for the job that you took, was it a school, an academy, a private tutoring company?
they're called language schools, so very popular here. And no, not an academy. I would just say it's a company, a tutoring company. It's probably the best way to sum
So
that up.
one on one, one or
Yes. Yeah,
ah,
one-on-one with adults. Sometimes I would have more than one student, if they were okay with not doing one-on-one.
mhm,
And then usually kids were group
right.
kids, kid
Okay.
from kindergarten classes to, excuse me, what we would call elementary age.
Okay. And how long was it ago was it that you went to Japan? Is it 2020?
My contract started last June.
Okay. And then you didn't renew. When
I
did
didn't
you
renew
not
my
renew?
contract, no, but I
How
have a
long was
work.
that?
Say that one more time.
How long was the initial contract?
6 months.
Okay. So you have been out of job for about 3 months.
Yes.
Okay.
Until I found puppy love, and I might have some side jobs, a few more side jobs teaching
Right.
English, so I
Right.
might be able to do that. But yeah, I just my sister-in-law said it was bad timing with the military, all the bases. She said they all of a sudden stopped hiring. She said because before she was telling me, "Come, come. There's so many jobs. Come, come. All kinds of jobs you can do." And so I came, and then everything I applied to said, "Oh no, no, thank you, no, thank you, no, thank you."
Right.
So I was like, "Ah."
So what you're staying with your brother and his family right now.
No, they're no longer together. So I'm with my sister-in-law, or former sister-in-law, and my niece.
Ah, okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
Where's your brother?
He's, back in the States. Yeah, he's back in
That
the
is
States.
okay. So you're the one right there. You're the one
Yeah, and
different.
everybody does say, and it's funny because in Japanese culture, they're not used to that, right? So everybody's like, "So why are you here?" And I'm like, "Well, they're my family."
Right.
"Yeah, but why are you?" I can't get to know my family, so it's kind of interesting, the different cultures and what
Right.
they think about you visiting. Because even when I would tell my students back in, Chiba when I was, teaching, they were like, "Oh, so you came here to," and I was like, "Yeah, I wanted to bond with my niece and nephew and see how they're doing, make sure their life is okay." And they was
Mhm.
like, "Oh, okay. Yeah, I never heard of that before." And I was like, "Wow, really?" Like thinking, "Wow, am I that strange to wanna know how my niece and nephew are doing?" So, yeah,
Okay. And so now you're living with your former sister-in-law and your niece and your nephew.
right.
And how long do you want to stay before you think of going home?
Well, I'm not sure if I mentioned this in my note to you, but the other thing, besides exploring some of Japan, getting to know my niece and nephew, was that we are both K-pop lovers. We love K-pop, and so the end goal was at the end of the year,
Hmm.
BTS would have their Festa, BTS 25, and everybody's out. So we're all celebrating. Yay!
Yeah.
So her and I would take this trip together, and that would be like our one thing that we did, for the memory books.
Mhm.
And that was the end goal.
Mhm.
So that was how long I had planned to stay. But
Mhm.
I also did not foresee having 2 months to almost 3 months of no employment. So my work visa is good until the end of June. Um, so it depends on how hard it will be to renew that. I don't think I've been on the website already, and it
Mhm.
doesn't sound like it's going to be very hard to renew it as long as I can prove that I'm making enough money to stay here.
Mhm.
But also, I really want to get this cafe up and going before the end of the
Mhm.
year.
Mhm.
So I don't foresee staying here much longer. And if I find myself still sort of finding it hard to make ends meet, then I know I can do better in the States. So I've
Right.
already warned them already that it could be when that visa expires that I might head out.
Yeah. But when that visa expires right around the time when the other five members are going to conclude their military service. And so
Yes.
a lot of my subscribers are already they bought their ticket already in Korea without even knowing what the plan is.
Yeah, I know. So we because it doesn't cost any money, we have already reserved a hotel. We tried to find out where the area is that they had the last festa, and then
Mhm.
we tried to pick a hotel close.
Mhm.
And we're watching the plane tickets, but I'm also waiting on information like what's going to happen because I heard that it's going to go from a festa to a festival. So to me, that means, well, is there going to be a charge now or is it still kind of free? So we have our eye out and
Mhm.
we talked about it last night. So we know that we want to get our plane tickets by the end of the month, mid-May, the latest. And we want to
Mhm.
stay for at least 3 days, that 3-day weekend. So we're
Mhm.
really excited. We don't know what's going to happen. But if we can even just meet the fandom, all of
Yeah.
Army, I mean, just compared to what's happening with J-Hope and his concerts, I mean, it's just such a cool fandom to be a part of.
It is,
So I'm
yeah,
looking forward.
it is very cool. That's what I'm realizing now. I've been, as you, well, I don't know how long you've been watching my videos, but I've been around a while, but I've never really connected this much.
Mm,
And it was primarily because of X, because of Twitter. So it was, there's just, I guess, just making that step to try and get to know people and actually
mm,
respond to them on a more intimate level, not just as a creator to somebody who's just commenting. But
right.
it is an incredible fandom. And so I've been hearing about Festa to a festival as well. These are all rumors. The problem is that I think one of the reasons they can't really disclose the plan is the fact that they're still in the military. And when you are in the military, you can't do anything. You're not supposed to be doing anything that could lead to an
Ah,
outcome. Yeah.
okay.
So that in the last interview of J Hope, and he was being asked like, so have you planned what you were supposed to, and he couldn't, you could see it in his face that he didn't want to answer, primarily because they're not supposed to, and they
Right,
probably aren't, right?
right.
So
Was
maybe they
that the
had,
radio show interview or
yeah,
the
yeah,
interview
yeah.
where he
Oh,
was
not the
made
burger.
dinner?
Yes, yes, that was it. Yes, he said
Okay,
that.
okay.
He was asked like, oh, so you probably have your plans laid out already, and he was like, and then in the end he said, we're gonna have to wait until everybody's out and then we'll plan, because they're not supposed to. That is a violation of their commitment to the military. So I think that's the reason. I think all of this, so all the things that I've been hearing, I'm just charging it to, my assumption is that this is Big Hit hoping that this is what BTS is going to do,
Okay.
but they don't know yet what BTS
Yeah.
is going to decide to do. I find it hard to believe though that they won't at the very least make something out of Festa or
Right, right.
the birthday of Army. So, but Suga is going to go out on the 20th. So, I'm assuming that they're going to wait for Suga to come out to be done
Ah,
with the service before they actually do something. Because, I mean,
so it
sick.
might not be on the anniversary weekend is what you're saying
That's
possibly.
my assumption. Yeah, I think they're gonna wait for Suga. They will probably do something in the anniversary weekend, but it's not seven. So, so I think
Yep.
if they're going to do something, they're going to do it once Suga is done
I
with
can
his.
wait. I have waited this long. Another week or two is not going to be much longer, so I can wait.
Right. So some of my subscribers are actually planning on staying for an entire month because they're not
Oh,
sure.
wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. A lot of them are just like, oh,
Nice.
we're just gonna stay on the anniversary weekend, Festa weekend, all the way until after the service of Suga, just to see if something's gonna happen. My problem is that I can't stand the heat. That's summer.
Ah,
Yeah, I can't. My body. I
yeah.
tried it. Yeah, I tried it last year, and my body just gave in. I was sick, so I was there for like 3 weeks. I think I was sick for 2.5 weeks because
Wow.
yeah, my body couldn't take it. I guess I'm
Wow.
too old for something like
Well,
that.
well, and it's interesting that you say that because I hit Japan at the middle of the summer or summer, and I just was like, "This is insane. How do you
Yeah,
guys do it? I could
yeah,
not live here. I could
yeah.
not live here." So now that you're saying that about
The heat.
South Korea, I'm like thinking,
Yeah.
"Okay, yeah,
My
okay,
one thing you might want to do is buy, this those fan that has a mist.
yeah."
Yeah. So
I
maybe,
see
but
them everywhere with it.
right, yeah. So maybe that
Okay,
make sure that you buy the one with the mist. So
with the
so
mist
that,
going. Okay, I could definitely
that
do
makes
that.
it better. Yeah.
Yep,
Because
yep,
I had a fan with me, but it wasn't mist fan. And
yeah.
so it was working a little bit, but still my body was just like, no, let's just go. This is
Right.
not for you.
Well, what I'm also trying to do is trying to find a way to make it almost to where the trip might pay for itself. So, as I love writing and
Mhm,
exploring storytelling, I'm trying
mhm.
to think what kind of great stories could come from, BTS Festa 2025. So, I'm working on that right now. And
Right.
J Hope, his concerts, and all this footage and the Hope on the Street really made me think about, wow, how far K-pop and dancing has come, and not just in the K-pop community, but even now in J-pop.
Mhm,
As I'm here, I'm seeing my niece watching her J-pop groups, and I was like, wow, this was not like this when I first came to Okinawa 30 years ago. So
mhm,
I'm wondering what happened, what triggered it. And I was watching your show, and then to answer your question, I got really into I had seen you on and off and watched a show or so here or there, I would say maybe a year ago. But when I was in Chiba and was really getting into all my YouTube videos, you popped up and I was like, oh, that voice sounds familiar. What is she talking about? It sounds cool. So I would listen to your shows whenever I was writing or working on something, working
right.
on any of my digital products. So, but that's what I'm trying to do as well is maybe a long form article about
Mhm,
the history sort of dance and how it's traveled and then
mhm,
how it's changed per the culture.
mhm.
So, yeah.
Well, yeah, that's an interesting one. Are you planning a documentary, an article, a book?
So, I would love to film it. And I think by the time I get to Seoul and then maybe back to Tokyo, I'll speak more Japanese. I don't know what I'll do as far as the translation in Korea, but I would love if I could get some dancers to answer some questions and show me what they've learned, and how they learned and how it came about.
Mhm,
So I do see a long form article, but eventually it turning into something bigger because I would really love to do a documentary. But I also have to do my research because I feel like, has this already been done? Has somebody tackled this already? It
mhm.
seems like they would with the huge success of K-pop, especially now in America. But I almost feel like if it if there was something out there like it, then I would have heard about it. So
Right.
so I think that yeah, that's what I
Yeah,
want to pursue.
but there have been some documentaries, but it was never focused on dance.
Mhm.
Dance would be a part of it, but never a focus on it, which is kind of strange to me because if you really think about it, the heart of it is really dance. I mean, the mood
Yes.
of K-pop, it's really is dance. And I remember Bang Shiuk saying that more than anything else, it's dancing that he looks for in an idol.
Yep.
And I understand, like, sure, of course.
Yes.
Of
Yeah.
course, dancing is what you're gonna be
Yep.
looking for.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah. So no, to answer your question, no, I would know. I mean, I'm not an expert, but I love films. Uh, and I try to consume as much of documentaries when it comes to art and entertainment. So there is none. Um, and I think there one thing that many miss in it when they talk about dance is that, so there's always a huge focus on the fact that this was, this entire thing was highly influenced by hip hop.
Right.
And I don't think anybody can deny that.
Right. Right.
I don't think anybody should deny that. But a huge part of it, um, one thing that they miss on touching is how hip hop has the ability to localize itself. So like,
Exactly.
so when you go to the Philippines, for example, hip hop there is different.
Yes.
Yeah, like kind of look the same, but it is localized. So that is not touched on a lot, and not a lot of people are discussing it. And I've been wondering why. Like, why can't
Right.
you even say that it is localized, that it's coming from hip hop, but it is localized. And I one of the my best friend is African American. He's an actor, and you've probably seen him in my videos, and he said that he's also a professor in USC. And he said
Nice.
that, yeah, and he said that, so his approach is very academic about the topic. And he said, oh, because many of them are scared of being branded racist, because the minute that you take somebody else's art, somebody else's
Mhm.
culture, you put it somewhere else and tell them it's kind of the same, but it's different now because it's localized. He said, you're going to be accused of appropriation, of racism. That's why nobody's voicing it out.
Yeah.
But so maybe that's an interesting angle. Like,
Yes. I think
right.
that is an interesting angle, which is one of the things I wanted to explore as well.
Yeah.
Why, when someone adapts a dance or clothing or a hairstyle, um, does ownership always become a part of it? Like, oh, that
Right.
was ours, and even if it is ours, why are we not so willing to share it? Do we not want to share it because the other groups are not giving appreciation for it,
Hmm.
and you just want appreciation? Because then that can be rendered. Some people will have no problem saying, and that is one of the things that I do love about, and I'm sure other K-pop groups have said it too, but I do remember from early on BTS crediting and saying that this is where they got the inspiration from for
Yeah.
this song, and this is where they got the inspiration from for that song. And then also who they love and admire, they don't hesitate to say, and they don't hesitate to share. So I think that that's evident, and I want to bring that out in this article documentary, that even if they localize it, they still have mentors or people that they admire that come from that background. And if you are saying that they might be racist because they claim it now as their own, maybe what they claim as their own is their style, what
Hmm.
they've turned it into, not where they got it from. And
Hmm.
so if you just want recognition from that, then that's something that can be worked on.
Hmm.
That's something, I feel like that's an easy fix, you
Right.
know. But yeah,
But
that is one of the huge reasons I wanted to explore this, is because I know that especially people in, well, I won't say unity, but I do know that there are instances where we feel a lot of things are taken, and then no
mhm,
one, you know, wants to give credit.
right.
So, and this will be about people wanting to give credit, but also changed that dance and made it their own and created a whole community of new dancers. I mean, I think it's
Right.
so awesome that you could go on TikTok and see all these people dancing to these dance
Right.
challenges that you could not
Right.
see. When I was in high school, we were like a little group of kids who were break dancing in the corner, and me and my girlfriend was cheering on our boyfriends and their friends. They were like, "Oh, you can do it! You can do that spin!" And now it's like so huge that people do it
Right.
everywhere, and I
Right.
love that. I love
Right.
it.
Yeah. So, but personally though, what do you think is it? What is the issue? Is it is it just because people feel slighted that people are making money out of something that you own, or is what is it? Is it something else?
Personally, I would say that it's the lack of recognition, but then also claiming something and then getting money from it, but then also not appreciating everything about that culture.
Got it.
So it's so, for example, as I love K-pop and I
Right.
love the dramas,
Mhm.
I make it a point to understand, when we go and visit, what are the laws there? How will people want me to act and treat them? Same thing when I came here to Japan. It was about knowing at least the basic language so that I'm respectful, knowing what I can do. I love music. I love to sing. I love to move a little bit when I hear a good tune. That's not really acceptable on the bus or on the train. So that's something to be aware of. And I want to respect that. So in the Black community, Black
Mhm.
culture, they're just asking for the same respect, the same thing, right? That you
Right. Right.
acknowledge what we've given and what we want to share, and then respect the culture and the people too in general, you
Right.
know?
Right. Got it.
So
Yeah. So I'm assuming that your nephews and naturally they're mixed
correct,
Japanese, and so
correct.
uh, how is it to them? How is their identity? Are they do identify more as Japanese? Do they identify more as an African American? Or is it something new entirely for them?
So what's interesting is, and I have seen this a lot too with those who are mixed, is that when someone looks more a certain way, they almost identify more with the other one. So, for example, my
Hmm.
niece, people can tell right away that she's
Hmm.
half Black, but everything about her personality is all Japanese. Like everything about her personality is all Japanese. Where my nephew, other than his hair, he pretty much has all Japanese features. People know
Hmm.
he's Japanese, but they're like, "Oh, you must be mixed with a little bit of something." But his personality is all Black,
That is so
or not all
strange.
Black, but more Black than I would even.
Right.
And he was the entertainer in his high school. He was dancing up a storm. I was even trying to get him. I was like, "Oh, Janet Jackson is starting her concert tour audition," but he was just too
Right.
nervous, and he was dancing for years. Right?
Right.
For years. He just loves it and loves the music. So I think they both identify as Japanese,
Hmm.
but they embrace their Black culture.
Okay.
So they're
It's-
not afraid to discover or know a little bit more about their Blackness and who they are.
okay. But why do you think that is? I mean, why the crisscross?
You know what? I have no idea. It's very interesting too because in my family, my mom is from Montreal,
Right.
and she had a slew of sisters, and one of the youngest ones was very fair. They said that she could have passed, basically. If you want a better life, you could pass for white. And she opened her mouth and there was no disputing that she had
Yes.
had African culture in her. There was
Right.
no
Right.
disputing that. And
Right.
so she could never pass because she would not want to change the way she spoke,
Right.
polish up her language. And so I'm not sure. I think with her, she almost wanted to fight for people to see her blackness because she didn't look black. She wanted people to
Right.
know that she was, so she had to do it vocally because it
Right.
wasn't seen visually. But I'm not sure why the crisscross. That is something that is something to explore as well,
Right.
especially
Right.
in mixed races. If that
Yeah.
happens a lot, if
Yeah.
people, how many people are even, like,
Right.
it's evened out in everything, or how many people lean more one way and less another way.
Right. Yeah. No, it's interesting, but and there could be some veracity to what you're saying because in here, not a lot of people can identify me as Filipino. They would either say, "Oh, you're probably Thai." They would know that I'm Asian, but they
Mm,
wouldn't know exactly which Asian country I came from. So others would guess like Malaysia, Indonesia, Thailand, and so the more people mistake it, the more I emphasize that I am Filipino. And in the beginning when I was doing my YouTube video, I mean, I'm not ashamed of being Filipino. I just never mentioned it because I never knew it was necessary.
yeah.
And then yeah, the more people mistake me for something else. And I remember even somebody asking like, "You're either Chinese or Mexican." I'm like, "What the hell? That doesn't even come from the same continent."
You're just like, wow, okay. That's,
So
yeah.
yeah, so the more I get mistaken for something else, the more I'm like, "No, I'm Filipino." So I guess overcompensation. I'm not sure.
Right, right, right.
Okay. So we know your plan, make some sort of documentary. And I think I absolutely would encourage you to do it because as I've said, no one has done it before. And I think a more like people are passionate about issues, right? So the more
Mhm.
level-headed you are, the more objective you can become. And I think
Right.
we can, we need a little bit more of that. So I would really encourage you. And I don't think you even have to use like high-end cameras to do your documentary. Your phone will do probably. I mean, we've seen
Yeah.
a lot of documentaries nowadays being shot on
Right,
your iPhone and it does well. You enter the grittier it is, the better. So please do
right.
it. Please, please.
Okay,
Um,
definitely.
yeah, please do it. Okay, so let's go back a little bit on your life in the US before you actually moved. So what were you doing? What work were you doing? Any kind of passion you were into?
So when I took the doctorate program at University of Hawaii, I was just going to continue my education in English and creative writing. So I wrote a novella for my master's thesis,
Mm-hmm.
and I ended up writing a huge book, like part two, to that. And I wanted that published. I was trying to do the JK thing and send it out at least 100 times. I
Yeah.
think I got to 90 and I had 7 ask, but still no one accepted. So that's a book that I'm trying to work on. And it's actually about Japanese and Black relationships in Little Tokyo in Los
Mm-hmm.
Angeles in the 1940s. Because a lot
Mm-hmm.
of people don't realize that Little Tokyo was all Black during the war, during encampment. So,
Oh, was it?
yeah, yeah.
Oh,
It
okay.
was it was all black, and then, and leave it up to the media. God, the media always trying to stir stuff. So when the Japanese were free to go home and return, of course they came back to Little Tokyo. And in the paper, they were saying that the black people were not welcoming them back, and were telling them to go elsewhere. And yet there were signs on poles
Mm-hmm.
saying "Welcome home." How
Mm-hmm.
can we help you? All that kind of great stuff, and working together. So I thought, yeah, this would be a great
Right.
story to write. So I have the manuscript. I think I just need to maybe go through it and polish it up, see what was the reason I didn't get the ask.
Yeah.
Yes, we want to publish this book, and then I'll work on that again. So writing is my love, it's my passion. Screenplay writing, I love that. I have an idea basically based off of this um, horrible suicide rate not
Mm-hmm.
just in Seoul, but in the US and Japan.
Mm-hmm.
So I had a script idea called True Idols, and it's just about an idol who just leaves his group uh, last minute to try and find himself
Mm-hmm.
and give himself reasons to live.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm working on that now, and that's basically my passion, writing.
Right. Right.
So I have decided that as things are very slow to happen here,
Mm-hmm.
that I will work on my writing, work on doing more freelance projects, writing projects, and then eventually I'll go back home and get this little cafe started, and maybe I'll teach writing and do some workshops around
Right.
writing.
Right.
So,
But have you ever thought of doing self-publishing in Amazon?
so the book is now on Amazon. Um, I haven't thought of actually putting that book on there. That is a good option. I'm not sure why I didn't think about that. I guess because I feel that you have to have like such a strong audience on either YouTube or your website to even get sales that would put you in a top 10 to where it would be recognized as a book and other people might see it.
Yeah.
So that is an option. And I think as I build my website, maybe even my writing portfolio, I can consider that
Yeah.
for sure.
So I've just because of work, I published several books on Amazon because we were experimenting on the algorithm, how it actually works, how to get into the best sellers list. And so one program Amazon has is that they will ask you if you want to give away your book for free in the first 14 days, I think.
Yes.
14 days, and then essentially you go to different websites, different Facebook groups, Twitter groups, just offer everybody, I have a book on Amazon for free, can you download it? And people will download it, and then you just return the favor, you download their book as well. It's a symbiotic relationship, quid pro quo. And so you'll end up in the best sellers list for sure. It's very hard not to in a strategy like that.
Oh,
um
okay.
yeah, and so that actually gives you some sort of leverage, because the minute that you hit the best sellers list, you can put that on your book. Just make sure you
Okay.
screen cap the minute that you get into the best sellers list, put it on your book, and so that becomes a little better. Now I do have one book there, and I actually give it away for free to my subscribers, which is how to find online jobs,
Ah,
profitable online jobs. Yeah. It's actually, I think I cannot put it for free for a very long time. That's against the rules of Amazon, and they automatically put a price on it anyway if you don't.
okay.
So um so usually if I have a subscriber who wants it and they don't have the money to buy it, I'll just give them a PDF. I don't care. I'll just give you a PDF. But then
Nice.
it still gets found by people because I get royalties from Amazon.
Oh, very good.
Yeah, I mean it's not a lot, but it is some. And so I think having that best sellers list qualification on your portfolio actually helps, because if they search for something that is right along the subject of whatever it is, that your topic, then you know Amazon is going to recommend it. So think about it, maybe that's one avenue for you. And then the other thing
Okay.
is, maybe it is like a marketing tool for you, having something so that your next book, you already have that. And the other thing is, the problem with Amazon, that's why you can't really consider it like a money making tool for you, or a money
Mm.
making platform for you, is that you can't control your whoever. I mean, you don't get, not control, but you don't get a copy of your clientele. So
Ah,
if somebody,
yes.
you don't know who they are, you
Yeah.
can't get in touch with them again.
Yeah. So you
So
can't do a email list.
yeah, so
Yeah.
or get in touch with them in some other way. So that, I think that's the problem. Like,
Mm.
I don't. I'm blind. I don't know who I'm talking with. So most people are actually just using Amazon as a marketing tool more than anything. But it's worth considering.
Okay.
Um, yeah, maybe that's something that you can think about. Um, okay, so that is your first love, and so what is the plan? You said that you eventually wanted to go back and do this cafe, which is a beautiful
Yes.
cafe, by the way. You gave me a link. Okay, all right. So, Nina, you said that one of the plans that you have is to actually do this cafe, and you wanted to call it the Purple Cafe or the Purple. Sorry, the Purple Corner. Am I
Yes, the
correct?
Purple Corner Cafe.
Okay, so tell us about it.
So this is so to give you a little story, a backstory of why this cafe is I was at a K-pop festival in Las Vegas, gosh, maybe 2 Aprils ago. And I noticed a lot of young women by themselves kind of walking around, and they had these great smiles on their face, but they in their eyes I felt like there was this I'm alone. How do I connect? How do I meet people here in this in type of environment? And this one particular young lady stood out to me because I thought, wow, that's me 30 years ago. And
Mhm,
so when I was in Chiba, we went to Koreatown, Shinokubo, I believe is the name. And there was this great
mhm,
BTS cafe. And there
mhm,
were women of all different ages, and they came with their great little tokens, and there was beautiful little desserts designed around BTS members, drinks. And I thought, wow, this would be a great environment if we could be inclusive and just welcome people, that if you're kind of a solo K-popper or a solo music fan, that you can come here and you can
mhm,
find your group, your people. And that is
mhm,
how I came up with this idea. Later, then I thought, well, if it's not always busy, I can incorporate fun things too. Like, hey, let's write a K drama together, or hey, let's dissect this K drama movie, or let's look at do a class on these lyrics and let's write our own song at the end. So fun stuff that would help bring out the creator in them. But the overall
mhm,
cafe is about celebrating. So maybe a group from Stray Kids wants to celebrate a new mini album and they want to have a party at the cafe. So I would design and theme a room for them. The desserts, the drinks would be designed around them. So this is just a cafe, a destination themed cafe where you can come with your fandom, enjoy the community, enjoy the music, but then it's also a place where if you're a creator, we will help you and welcome you with your writing, your singing. We'll have open mic if you want to do poems. Yeah, and then yes, as you scroll down, here's a little bit of sort of the vibe I want to give people.
mhm,
I want to offer maybe a once a week K-pop dance class, which would be fun and
mhm,
exciting. And then I think if you scroll further down, that's a sort of a picture of the idea, but this one is more sort of how I picture the cafe, with great
mhm.
little cute items for snacks, for desserts, coffee drinks around your idol or the group and what they love, cozy chairs where you can do whatever you want on the table and put whatever you want up. And then here was just a sample of some ideas. The Korean fried chicken wings I have to have.
Oh, oh my God, please. I am in love with Korean fried
Yes,
chicken.
because I know it would be so popular.
Ah,
And then this is I did True Idol, but this is like, hey, movie night here, and then the poster, comeback party here, and then also, hey, essential effective ways of journaling. Do you want to write a song? Do you want to tell a story? Do you want to just get your feelings out on the paper? Let's show you how to do
Mm-hmm.
that. And so I came up with all this kind of fun stuff, karaoke
Right.
night. And then once every Sunday, I would like to have a almost like a give back Sunday where we maybe have a event with adopt a animal, or let's do yoga
Mm.
and meditation for relaxation.
Mhm.
So pictures, these are some pictures that I've got received from the cafes around here, and they do all these
Mhm.
cute little designs on their desserts and their drinks. And I thought, yeah, that would be perfect to be able to
Mhm.
almost specialize it per event and per group. And then here
Right.
is just a sample of some of the merchandise that we would have, offering
Mhm.
journals, cups. This would be maybe an employee a staff shirt, but then eventually I want to open up the Purple Corner store to more specialty stuff for BTS fan members, 17 fan members, ATs, and on and on and on, Blackpink. So
Yeah. So okay, so by the way, it's a cool idea. I would definitely be supporting your cafe if this ever comes into fruition, and I'm sure that you will. You have the personality for
thank
it.
you.
A lot of people have, well, a lot of people have great visions, right? I mean, I remember, was it RM who said that, like, in your lifetime, you're gonna come up with two to three, like, breakthrough
Right,
ideas. But yeah, but if you don't have what it takes to actually execute it, then you're going to miss out on that idea.
exactly.
And yeah, and you definitely have the personality to actually make this come true. So just how were you raising the funds
Well,
with it?
that's the hardest part, and I think it's really hard because I'm here in Japan. Because
Right.
I started doing all this social media, little cute little ads, little videos, and I think the algorithm is just not pushing me outside of Japan because I'm, like, getting
Mm-hmm.
no interest anywhere else. But that's where
Mm-hmm.
watching your video with, Denise, was it Denise or Debbie? Denise,
Yes,
right?
Debbie.
That was
Debbie.
enlightening, and I wrote my notes and took everything down, and so what I may do is I'll try a few things, and if it's still not working and I feel like it might be because of location, I'll pull it and do all my research again and then try again. But I would like to go to, some nonprofit companies in Southern California, some Korean organizations and companies in that area, and ask them
Mm-hmm.
for, donations, or if they want to be investor. I'm not sure if I really want to partner. I did have somebody who wanted to partner with me, but because they're not a K-popper, I feel like giving them reins to decide a lot of things might be too chancy and a little bit too risky for me. So I would rather have investors who, get some return on investment as opposed to equity. So just for
Mm-hmm.
now, I would like to make this my sweet little baby, and then when it blows up and becomes amazing, then I will
Mm-hmm.
consider the whole, let's open up another one, and then yes, equity is available and all that good stuff. So watching that
Right.
show and listening to Denise made me realize there's a few other things that I can do, a few other outreaches that I didn't look into or consider. Um, as a freelancer, I was saying, okay, pull up a map and look for companies that maybe you can write for. Well, then when I was listening to her, I thought, oh, that's a good idea to also think about for investors. Look at a map, find the companies, send them a great letter, ask them, send them my business plan and see if they're willing to invest. So I have a few things that I got to
Mm-hmm.
start
Yeah.
working
Yeah.
on. But thank you
Yeah.
so much for liking the cafe. I think it's not only a great idea, but I think it would be helpful really for the community and for people, because I don't want to help just creators, but other businesses also, I want to help them grow. And then if we can do a charity event once a month, that would just be icing on the cake to be able to help others as
Right.
well.
And by the way, if you want to like a one-on-one consultation, it's Debbie is the name, Debbie Soon.
Debbie.
If you want to, yeah, Debbie, yeah, one-on-one consultation with her, I'll be more than happy to connect you with her. She'll be happy to do it, just to consult, and she can look through your business plan and tell you. She's great. Like, she will know. And if as she revealed in that interview, she's an actual
Yeah.
hustler. For you to DM somebody,
Yes. Yes.
for you to slide into somebody's DM, just
And
find a
you
partner.
know what's funny is I have done that several times. I have tried
Right.
to do the same thing several times. So that's awesome that she, I think with me is maybe I might have given up too soon, and she was probably
Mhm.
just keeping at it, because yeah, that's a great way too. I've heard of very a lot of people being successful at finding jobs or finding their dream job or dream partner by just sending a DM. So sometimes it really can happen.
Right.
So that was really great. And I would definitely love a one-on-one with her.
Yeah. Yeah, sure. I'll connect you with her, and she's lovely. She'll be more than happy to do it. I know another he's an investor as well, but he does more tech.
Mm,
And he doesn't like doing anything that he's not familiar with,
right,
obviously.
right.
That's natural, I guess. But he would be able to help you, like if you have a business plan that you want to present to like organizations or to somebody, to a private equity, to a shark, then he can give you tips.
Awesome.
But one of the great things that sort of Debbie sort of was able to like really pound on in that interview is that if you're asking somebody to invest in your business, basically the two questions that you need to be able to provide an answer to that investor is, what is a problem that you are
Mhm.
solving, and why are you the right person to solve
Right.
it? So, and I've heard that in so many different
Yes.
ways. It's just that he was able to succinctly put it into terms. So yeah, I'll after this, I'll tomorrow most likely I'll email her, ask for if she has time, and then I'll connect the two of you. You'll learn a lot from her. She's great. Okay, so just have you ever thought of doing anything within the K-pop community, asking people to invest within the K-pop community? Because I feel like maybe that's something that is worth exploring, because a lot of people in the US, one thing that I discovered having a
Hmm.
Patreon community is that there are many of us, we're just
Mm,
so scattered. And because a lot of the people in our lives are interested in something else, more mainstream things, right? It's so hard to get enjoy the things that we actually enjoy because we don't have anybody to share it
right.
with. And so but once we come together and actually nurture this community, I realized that, my God, people are willing to help. People are looking for things that they can actually like spend their time on, their money on. It's just that they can't find anything like
Right.
that. So have you ever thought about doing an outreach just among K-pop fans and create, I don't know what it is, I don't have the answer, maybe Debbie will have
Right.
something, but
Right.
like, I don't know, like, find a way on how they can invest
Yes.
in your business as
Yes. So
well.
to answer your question, yes. I have thought about that, but I also was like thinking, well, how can I do that? And then I also
Hmm.
I didn't want people to think that I was like using, I don't know, I guess using Army or BTS to fund my business or to help out. I didn't want it to come across in a negative sort of way. I wanted them to know that it was, this cafe is designed to help people, not just to combat loneliness, but to really work with those who are just suffering from mental health, and who struggle with um, everyday issues where being around a group of people who are like them, whether it's we like the same music and we like the same group, can help them in small ways and then eventually even larger ways. So I did think about that, but I just couldn't figure out how to go about sort of marketing to that without it seeming like, I don't know, I guess I would be begging K-poppers for their help. Does that
Right.
make
No, I
sense?
get it. I get it. Yeah. No. Yeah. And I definitely understand your concern, and I also don't have the answer to
Right.
that question,
Of
unfortunately.
course.
Like, I also don't know how that's going to happen. I just know that there would be somebody out there, or several somebodies
Right.
that would be
And
willing
I agree.
to
Yeah.
actually invest.
And I agree.
Yeah, it's just that, how do you
Yeah.
approach it is the
Yeah.
question. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe those two people that you will be consulting can actually help.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. And then the other thing is that, so I know that Trump gets a lot of flack for a lot of the things that he's saying and he's doing, and many of it he deserves. But one of the great things that he's actually putting in place is good funding for small businesses right now.
Mm.
So yeah, so if you come back, they really are moving that needle, which is not surprising because he's a businessman.
Right.
So they are a lot of the government is actually gearing up towards going back to the basics, because the lifeblood of this country is small
Right.
businesses.
Exactly.
That's, yeah, 90% of our income is actually coming from small businesses. So he's sort of looking for ways and finding utilities in order to make sure that small businesses actually get
Okay.
funding. Um, and so once you come in, that's one of the things that you can
Okay.
explore, uh, funding for that, and maybe starting with that. If you get some funding from the government or some organization, then it's easier. Once you have something already,
Right.
it's easier then to approach K-pop fans that may want to invest because you already have
Right.
something. So just a thought, yeah. Okay, so you said that there's something else that you wanted to present.
Oh, well, I did want to show you my Okinawa. Okay. So this is my Okinawa. So this is what I see as soon as I come out my door. I wanted to take a picture of this because this would give your audience an idea of homes and apartments, how they look, and also how close they are together.
Right.
And then I did a little video so people could see what I see as soon as I come out to the street. This is just a normal street.
Yeah.
It's got
Are
a
are cars Okinawa?
they're Daihatsu and Toyota are the main cars here.
Okay.
So those are the 2 companies, left and right.
Okay.
They when I first came here, they were really, really small cars, so they've gotten a little bit bigger. However, the streets are
Mhm.
still very small. So,
Very small. Yeah.
yep. This is a mom and pop shop. They pretty much all will be mom and pop shops, but this is one of the few Italian, or that was the Bella Isola is one of the few
Mhm.
Italian restaurants right around the corner from where I live.
Oh, this is a restaurant.
Yeah. So and it's
I thought it's some sort of a store, like a cute little
right,
store.
yes,
It's cute.
because they put their homemade little plates there, which I'll get to that
Right.
too, because their Okinawa is known for their ceramics. I just wanted to do a picture of the street just so you could get an idea of what streets look like here. That's it would
Mhm.
normally look, or it would look to somebody like an alley, but it's actually a street. And now,
Oh, this is a main
yeah,
street. Like,
so that's
oh,
yeah, it's
wow, that is
and it's
small.
yeah, and it's like the back end street of one of the most popular destinations here, which is Koksaidori, which is, I guess I would say it's equivalent to like a rodeo in Beverly Hills, except it's
Right.
more mom
Right.
and pop and not luxury. So then here,
Okay.
another mom and pop store, and this is a part of Ceramic Row, and these people own their shops and they build, or I'm sorry, they make their own ceramics. So this is a cute little shop,
Mm.
and then the next photo too. Oh, here, great. This is a video, and this shows a little mom and pop shop. All these nice little ceramics they make there in the store. I go by fast here because of the young lady. And then here's some
Mhm.
more ceramics that they build. And there's a whole row, and people come from all over just to check out this particular street. And then here, I filmed this. I'm not sure if anybody knows outside of Japan, but just like the kombinis are very famous here, so is their vending machines. And one of the reasons why
Okay.
is because the vending machines are very inexpensive, 100 yen to 150, and they serve hot and cold drinks. So you could, yes,
Hot?
so you could get a hot tea or a hot coffee, or you could get a soda or a sparkling Japanese drink. It's amazing.
It is amazing. How do they do
Yes,
that?
I know,
Okay.
right? How do they do it? So
Okay.
here we're going into one of the shopping areas, which is called Heiwa Dori, Sunshine Dori.
Mhm.
And I just wanted to give a little picture of what a shop looks like when you go here.
Mhm.
Yeah, this next one shows you the outside. So this is the sort of, I guess you would say, hallway, and it is so
Mhm.
busy. But if you look above, you see that it's kind of this plastic and metal roof. And what's interesting in Heiwadori is you can go down. It's almost like a maze. That's the best way to say it. That's what I was looking for. It's
Right.
like a maze. You can go down one way, turn left, go down, and then go right, and then turn left. There's just shops everywhere. And what's beautiful is
Right.
that they're all mom and pops. Very few, unless you run into a Family Mart or 7-Eleven, very few of them are chains. So it's very into local companies and supporting local businesses.
Mm. It's very similar to what in Korea. There's a lot of stores like
Oh,
this.
great.
Market.
I can't wait
Yeah,
to
market.
discover those then. I wanted to do a
Yeah.
little bit of food. They're not big on filming. There's a lot of film, don't film me up close, don't film, the food, don't
Ah,
film in the shop.
yeah.
So I did what I could. And this I wanted to film because this is very popular here in Japan, is showing all the dishes outside the restaurant so you get a clear
Mhm.
idea before you even go in what you can get.
We should do we definitely should do that in the food in the US.
It's just so amazing. I took a picture of
Right.
this because this is sort of the aloha, and then my niece told me that the Japanese have a pattern called uh, kuriyashi, which is also
Koreashi.
a aloha pattern, but it's a little different compared to like if you go to Hawaii and you see a lot of aloha shirts and dresses.
Mhm.
But they have tons of shops here, and it's just beautiful designs, beautiful patterns together. Here is the famous street, Kokusai Dori. And
Mhm.
again, a lot of shops. You would think with a street being so popular that it would, like Rodeo, it would be popular because of the brands, and that's not it.
Mm.
It's popular just because there are so many mom and pop stores that you can go and get anything. And then they do have shops like that that have just brands of certain fun cookies that's very popular
Right.
here. The Okinawa ice cream Blue Seal, I believe it's called, also very popular. So they have several locations. Here, I wanted to show people what a grocery store looks like. Um, I think I have several little clips of this grocery store, and each one will have,
So this is a local grocery store, or is
yeah,
this how grocery stores usually look? Because you know how it is in here, there are local
yep.
stores where it's actually small, and then you have the big one. So is this a local
This
one,
is
like a
local,
neighborhood one?
and it's more bigger. It's bigger. Um,
Right.
the smaller ones I tried to go into, but they have this whole camera policy as well. So I went to this one. But what's interesting with the grocery stores here is it is really all about food. And then if you want to get your pharmacy stuff, you go to a pharmacy store. So
Mm,
if you're trying to do a one shop stop, it's very rare. You might find one store, but you're not going to find it like in the US where everywhere you go, you can
right,
find everything. No, grocery
right.
stores are just about food, and then you can go somewhere else to get, maybe the pharmacy needs or the toiletries and whatnot.
I was gonna ask that actually. So toiletries and laundry detergents, and that's another store.
Yes, but then there is a newer store on this actual main street that does have a little bit of options. So that's the thing is that because the square footage is so small, some will have a little, like one or two rows of a
Mm-hmm.
few options. But if you are, oh yeah, this is my video I did of all the snacks because I was like, this is just so many snacks here in this video.
Uh, I can live
Yeah,
here.
just
For
snacks
sure.
everywhere, everywhere. So, yes and no. So, you can get some little items, but if you
Mhm.
want a variety, you have to go to either a bigger grocery store that has a huge pharmacy, or you just have to go to a pharmacy.
Got it. Got
Yeah.
it.
That was the thing that kinda shocked me when I first, especially in Chiba. I was like, "Wait, where's the stuff to do my hair? Where's my shampoo and conditioner? And
Right,
where's the"
right,
so not all of them will have it, and then if they do, it's limited. So I would just
right. I love pastries, by the
Yes,
way.
so I was gonna
It's
say,
my
uh,
poison of choice.
Japan is known for their snacks, right? But what's great
Right,
is
yeah,
portion control. Everything's nice and small and cute, which is it tempts you to have more than one, but I love their
yeah,
bread selection is great.
right.
This is, Koksadori, a neighborhood right off of Koksadori. So, wanted to
Mhm.
give the audience a idea of what, apartments and things look like just if you're looking down a street.
Right.
And then here, I took a picture of that because up at top, it said something about a monkey inside, and I was like, "That's random. That's crazy." Very.
Was there a monkey
I did
inside?
not even wanna go and find out. This I'm not sure if you're familiar with the Blue Zone and that, Netflix show, but, they talked about in Okinawa, when they focus on Okinawa for living longer, up to 100, they talk about the, purple potato, and so
Mm,
this is one of few of the chain stores here where they have it and they kinda turned it into like a dessert, a sweet, and
mhm.
it's a very popular thing here as well, the little purple potato. And then here I did a video. This is the Heiwadori. We saw it from one end, and then that's the other end. So you can
And how big is this? Is it like an
so it's
entire block?
I would say in block wise, it's probably like walking 2 blocks. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
it's big. It's nice
Yeah,
and
it is
big.
big, yeah.
The steak restaurant, very popular here. They do have chains, and then
Oh, that's pretty, 2,500 yen. That's like
yeah, not bad, right?
that's
Because
pretty,
that's
yeah.
probably would be like 16, $17 maybe?
Yeah, 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 right around
Yep.
that. That's not
Nope,
bad.
nope. This is a picture of a center, sort of it's Naha City Center, and there's a museum, there's a Naha City tourist information, and, it's also a great little area when they do events, that little, area, they host all kinds of events right there.
Oh. So are there like mini concerts, something like
Oh,
that?
no, I wish. But every
Oh,
Sunday,
okay.
they actually close that street down, and they do have Oh, I guess to answer your question, maybe yes. They do have um, drum entertainers, drum dancers, all those come out on
Oh,
Sunday because they totally
okay.
close that down. And then here's the
Right.
park right up the street from where I live. A great little park. I call it the cat park. And yeah, here's a great another little photo. What you're looking at straight ahead too, as you can see, they have the scooters available. That's brand new. They didn't have those before. And then this
Oh,
is a
okay.
moped parking lot, a moped little parking lot, which I thought that that was an interesting concept. Do you pay to park your moped? And
Right.
it's just for mopeds. So that was really cool. I just took this
Yeah.
because everybody takes this. And, in Okinawa, um, the symbol is huge, and everywhere on the street they have two of them. They come in pairs. I forgot to ask what the actual name of this statue is, but they're everywhere. It's kind of like their Okinawan, maybe even Japanese symbol. And then here we are at Kombini Family Mart. And again, I didn't go inside, but I did because they're so popular. And I hear the 7-Eleven style is coming to the States, that I wanted to kind of show people what it looks like here and all the great little treats that they offer. Little snacks, little store, fried chicken. And then here on the way back to the house is a mom and pop shop of just fruits and vegetables.
Okay. I would love
Yeah.
that.
And then
I
and
love
then
fruits and
as you
vegetables.
notice, there's a vending machine like on every corner. They said in Japan there's a vending machine, one for every 10 people.
Oh,
Yeah, one for
wow.
every 10 people. There's a vending machine, and this is the walk back to the back home. So, yeah,
Yeah.
that is my little Okinawa. And I've discovered being
Well,
here, there are a lot of stories to write about, so I just
right.
have to
Right.
focus and manage my time well. When you have a few different projects, that's what you have to do,
Yeah.
right? So,
Yeah. Yeah. That's another thing that I just actually recently learned. Just like picking the things that I know I can finish and actually finishing them before I move on to the next.
right.
So one of the things is that I am trying to do is launch an online magazine that's specifically focusing on Asian entertainment and culture. And so
Nice.
I actually, in the last live stream, I actually show them the progress. We're almost there. It's not perfect, but I thought maybe like for the first 3 months, it's some sort of a soft
Oh,
launch
cool.
before I actually like do something bigger. But that also meant like, because I'm also a writer by heart. I write scripts, movie scripts. I've done 7 films, I think, and then
Nice.
a book.
Congratulations. Yeah,
But
I saw that in your bio too.
yeah, so I had to like pause that just so I can finish the website. And I feel like once that is running, then I can go back and finish the book as
Nice.
well. But yeah, it's just amazing to me that at my age, I'm ancient now, but I'm still learning about me. Right?
Yes, yes. I doubt your ancient, but you're never too old to learn, they say. Never too old.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's just amazing how the things that I've learned about myself, especially when I'm not making any effort to
Right.
learn. It's like that's when I actually
Yep.
learn.
That seems like when you learn something new for sure.
Right, so Nina, just in case, this has been an interesting conversation. I think one of the most interesting interviews that I've ever had, and I really, really hope that, and I'm sure that it will. I just hope that it will come sooner than later for this cafe to actually
Yes.
come into fruition. And if there's anything I can do to help, let me know. Not just about the cafe, but if for anything, let me know. And if I can
Okay, definitely.
yeah. So, but just in case my subscribers actually want to get in touch with you for whatever reason, how do they do that?
They can reach me via my email or my website.
Okay. So the email is on the screen. It's yellowdressstudios@gmail.com. Um,
Yes,
yeah,
perfect.
and then the website is actually there. It will also be in the description box. So just in case, yeah, just
Awesome.
in case you guys want to get in touch with her, just be mindful that if she is in Japan, so if you get in touch with her during the day in the US, most likely she's not going to respond until nighttime. So, but thank you, Nina. This is such an interesting conversation, and I'm definitely
Oh my
going.
gosh, yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. It's such a pleasure to finally meet you after watching so many of your videos. I love your content.
Thank you.
You always have such great insight and wonderful things to
Yeah.
say. So thank you so much for your show, and thank you for this
Of
opportunity.
course, of course.
Thank you
And I
for
hope,
letting me
yeah,
share.
I hope to meet you when BTS actually does the OT7 tour. Let's make it.
Oh, yes, definitely.
All right. Thank you so much.
That's the date. Oh, you're welcome. Thank
Bye.
you. Thank you so much. Bye.